What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes catching up with a rising star in the sport of mixed martial arts, already very decorated in submission grappling. This is Kade Ruotolo, the 2022 Abu Dhabi world champion. What was the weight class? How many kilos was the weight class that you won over here in Vegas a few years ago?
Oh, that was 77 kilograms. Most of my comps have been at 170 pounds. Yeah.
Nice. And you compete as a welterweight now, right? At one championship?
Yes, so yeah, for one championships, I'm at 170 pounds as well. They make you pass that hydration test, So, if it wasn't for the hydration test, it'd probably get lighter, but
So what do you walk around at?
It depends how bad I'm eating, If I'm eating just like I'm usually eating, which is just kind of pure shit, it's definitely a lot higher, like 185. I make the resemblance. We almost like the Patty the Pimlet, in a way where
Oh, really?
off season we're just stuffing our faces. It's bad. My brother's just as bad, and then when we get back into action, we get it back. So, but when I'm eating clean, I'm probably walking around like just over 170, like 175, give or take.
Yeah. Kade is from Orange County, California, more specifically Huntington Beach. So a neighboring city of where Goes and I grew up. So maybe we'll ask a few more questions related to that. What kind of food do you like to smash in the OCA? Do you like Mexican food or another type of cuisine? Take us down memory lane.
Don't ask me that question right now because I might be talking for a very long time with this. I just started watching my meals too, so now I'm craving everything. But honestly, you can't go. I feel like Southern California has the best Mexican food, like almost in the world. It's pretty hard. It's a pretty gnarly argument, but I don't know. I feel like just all the local Mexican spots that we have around here, it's hard to beat. Los Barches.
Yeah, and the Texans will tell you Tex-Mex, and I've had it, man. It's messy and greasy. It's good. Don't get me wrong, but I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think we have it on lockdown. And then how about the wrestling? Where did you go to high school and where did you learn wrestling to complement your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, so after about fourth grade, my brother and I started homeschooling full time for jiu-jitsu and all of our sports. So, but we were always going to like different high school wrestling gyms and getting looks there. I think that was super important actually for our career growing up. We just weren't jiu-jitsu kids, even though jiu-jitsu was our base. We were making it super, not just us, but our parents were always dragging us into either wrestling gyms or judo gyms. So we were always getting the upper body looks and the lower body looks, not just the grappling as well.
Huge. I know one of the powerhouses in the OC. I don't know if they're still around as a powerhouse. I'm sure they are. As a school was Calvary Chapel. They produced a lot of great wrestlers, and
right. I used to wrestle with those guys a lot.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I think back then was it Jacob Harmon was in charge of the kids program, but man, they would run us. Those were some of the hardest practices of my life, and I was a kid back then. So yeah, that was definitely the spot to be for sure.
Damn, man, at 19, you already bagged a world title at Abu Dhabi. That's incredible, man. It was here in Vegas at the T-Mobile. Oh, no, this one's at the Thomas and Mack. And but they really, really packed the house. I felt like that was maybe a turning point for submission grappling to see it in an arena packed. I know Dana White was even there. Like a lot of the Vegas people came out and saw, and they were blown away by just how big this tournament is, because we had always heard about it, but it was in Abu Dhabi, and then they started flying to different parts of the world. How did it change your life?
That's right. Yeah, it was quite an event for sure. It was a bit mind-boggling. For me, the most mind-boggling part was the fact to have that big of an audience. They had the whole stadium maxed out, but to have them there for the majority of the day. Matches were starting in the in the morning and then all the way throughout the night. So guys were there literally, or guys and girls were all day. And it wasn't like, people were bored all half the time or whatever. Throughout every match, the crowd was engaged, and you could tell people were excited to see what they were watching. It was like you said, it was like a special thing for jiu-jitsu for sure. It was like a step up finally. And yeah, that was for sure one of the events that changed my life, like going into that bracket. Especially that bracket, man, my division, the 77 kilogram. At the time, they were saying like probably the gnarliest bracket that was ever forged together, you know. So I was looking at it like I had all my heroes in there. So I was like, this is going to be a crazy one, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And I was out of the country for about 6 months, and then when I came back, this was now we're looking at 2024. There was Abu Dhabi, and then Craig Jones came up with his own thing, and it looks like you went in that direction. But how did that split up the submission grappling world? Was it for the better in a way, or what do you think?
Yeah, that was you know, a super interesting, kind of funny, kind of, you know, coincidence, or I don't even know how to say it, but you know, for us it was more so just about the financials. You know, I had gotten the ADCC title the previous 2 years ago, right? So for me it was more so about just chasing down the paycheck, and who knows if that opportunity to make $1 million in one night will come back ever again for jiu-jitsu, you know. So we had to jump on it, and yeah, obviously it turned out being the same day as ADCC, so that stirred a lot of feathers up, or however you want to say it. But you know, I think at the end of the day, in the long run, you know, it's good for jiu-jitsu. Just anytime you're bringing more money to a sport like that, now there's other guys looking at it wanting to do $1 million tournament, you know, and it's just kind of elevating the worth for the sport. So at the end of the day, I think it's good for the sport. The fact that it happened on the same day, you know, you could argue, but at the end of the day, you know, everything happens for a reason, and I think it was good for jiu-jitsu.
I think it's cool, and if someone's writing the check, no one's gonna hate you for chasing it down.
Right.
Um, but let me ask you one last thing, and then I guess we'll turn the page to MMA. Did ADCC hold any type of resentment? Like, could you ever go back if Craig Jones Invitational didn't continue? Like, was that like, you know, a lot of drama, I guess, behind the scenes? Because being that you're a world champ, you know.
Right, right. Yeah, you know, you it's tough to say, you know, because you know I haven't reached out too much to the whole ADCC guys and all that. You know, I know Mo wasn't super stoked. Mo from ADCC wasn't super stoked on our decision, of course. Um, but you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, we're athletes. We gotta, you know, that are, you know, trying to support our families and, you know, our loved ones. So at the end of the day, you just gotta do what's best for you, you know. And at that point in time, that was the better move for our lives. And yeah, so it just kind of just played out that way. You know, I guarantee you, Mo's not super stoked on us. I don't think he follows us on Instagram anymore, which I'm like, come on, Mo. But it's not too big of a deal. Yeah, hopefully not.
I'm
No,
pretty
no
sure
more
if
than
Mo
that.
was in the same boat, man, he'd give strong consideration to what you did, if not do
Right,
it. But
right, right.
whatever, man. You know, like I say, I thought that was hard to turn down because that is some huge money in the submission grappling world.
Right.
So anyway, I applaud you for all you've done there coming out of the OC, and now you're 2-0 in MMA. You're facing a 7-0 Argentinian. Talk to me, man. Are you embracing MMA like you did submission grappling? Like, let me ask you straight up. Like, you like getting hit in the face, or what's all this transition been like for you?
Yeah, yeah, I've been loving it. You know, that's been the main reason for my jump to MMA. You know, technically, I still get paid more to fight jiu-jitsu than I do to fight MMA. So, for me, it's not even about as much the financials as much as it is that I just love the fight. You know, my brother and I, we've always loved watching MMA fights growing up, and we've always, you know, scrapped each other growing up. So it was always in us, you know. We always knew we wanted to do it. We just had to conquer what we wanted to conquer first in jiu-jitsu. And once I did that, I feel like, okay, now it's time. Now we're 2 fights deep, going into the third. And yeah, I love it. Like you said, getting hit in the face. You know, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. You know, it's either you know, they can grasp towards it, no problem, or it's the complete opposite, and it's the last thing they want to do. You know, so thankfully, my brother and I think from all the wars that we've just had growing up, you know. I mean, a lot of our jiu-jitsu matches are basically like just slap fighting or bare knuckle at some points, you know. So it's really seasoned us up, and yeah, I feel like when I get hit in the face, it wakes me up and makes me want it more. So I'm stoked on it.
Cade, what about game plans going into fights versus jujitsu? I know in jujitsu, there are times where you can plan 3, 4 moves ahead, you know, based on where the position is. In MMA, when you add in the striking and all that, how different is that for you? How different is it for you to come up with game plans and all that?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because like you said, there's a lot more variables to MMA, and the pacing is so much quicker per se, right? Shorter rounds, higher pace, higher output. So from a strategy standpoint, obviously I'm the jiu-jitsu guy, right? So pretty much from the strategy standpoint, it should be to always grab them, but it's not that easy. So learning how to use my strikes to set up my grappling and all those type of things have been playing a big part. And I think as far as strategizing, it's really, really awesome to have the help that I have in my corner as well. My coaches, they make it super easy to have the confidence to go in there and kind of just, they have all this experience on their end. So, I just have to listen to them. They give me the blueprint and I just go out there and execute.
Where are you at as far as passion? And what I mean by that is, George and I, we played a lot of sports growing up, and there were some years where you just looked forward more to when football season came around or baseball season as you got older, or basketball. Now being engulfed in mixed martial arts, where's that passion level for you? Has it caught up to jiu-jitsu at all in any way, or is jiu-jitsu still just always going to be your first love?
Oh yeah, it's fully surpassed jiu-jitsu without a doubt. I love jiu-jitsu. It's been it's been a part of my life, or it's been my life, my entire life pretty much. But this is something new, and it's just refreshing to me because I'm learning. Obviously I still learn every day in jiu-jitsu, but in MMA I'm learning so much. It's just refreshing to be like a student of the game again. Um, Not that I'm still a student in the game of jiu-jitsu, of course, but even more so in MMA. And it's been, yeah, the words are super refreshing and motivating to keep learning everything. And as far as my passion goes, yeah, I don't think it couldn't be too much higher. I'm extremely motivated, and I love the sport with my whole heart. So yeah, I'm ready for those golds.
One championship can have huge arenas, huge crowds. It's a spectacle. What are your thoughts as you're walking towards that cage? Has anything ever caught you by surprise? Are the nerves just the same for jujitsu, or is it a little different for you? How do you feel now, this being your third fight?
It was interesting. Yeah, the first time I felt like the nerves a little bit. It was a little bit. It felt a little bit more unknown compared to the jiu-jitsu scene. Um, and nothing like scared, but just a little bit more nerves than usual. And then after the second fight, or going into the second fight, I didn't really feel that at all. I felt just confident, ready, um, prepared, and feeling the same for this one. So now I feel like it's almost. I think it was just that debut. I had that debut, nervous energy, but got the first two out of the way, and doesn't seem to be as feels like the same thing in jiu-jitsu now.
In your head, when you've looked over this fight and what could potentially happen, do you already have the finish in your head, how you think it's going to finish?
For sure, I've got a couple different ways, and that's why I'm excited to go out there and fight this fight because I don't think I could win in one realm of martial arts. So I think I'll be able, like my last fight, hopefully surprise a lot of people with my striking, and get him there. If I can't get him there, the plan B, grapple.
Our guest is Kade Ruotolo, who's got a fight coming up against Nicolas Vigna, and they're going to throw down in the country of Qatar. Now, U.S.-based audience, you guys can watch on YouTube, but I always tell people go to the One Championship website, go to the tab that says watch, and they make it very easy for you to know if you're watching from another part of the world, how you can link in and catch this fight. It's a hybrid card. You're going to see a little bit of everything. These guys are going to throw down in mixed martial arts. What were your thoughts when you got that call, man? You're in cozy OC, sunny Southern California, and you got to fly halfway across the world for this one.
You know what's wild is when I got the location for this one, I was almost a bit excited because we're always in Thailand for the most part, so that's at least two flights. It's pretty long travel. This one at least is one flight. I've been to Qatar once, so it's definitely not as long as Thailand. So I'm stoked on that. Yeah, I was definitely like I never competed in there out there, so it'll be the first time competing, but excited to put on a show for everybody out there for sure.
Straight from LAX to Qatar?
That's right. Just one flight. I think it's like 15 hours, something like that, give or take, somewhere around there. I got to go double check. But yeah, just a direct. I think it's like the longest direct flight you can take, or one of them.
Coach or business?
That's a great question. Usually because with the grappling belt for one championships, I'm flying a business class, thankfully, and I think that's been a bit of a curse in disguise because now I've gotten a little bit accustomed to that for grappling, and now when I fight MMA, I don't have the belt anymore. So then I go back to coach, and I'm missing it, especially on those long flights. But my whole team, I'm bringing my dad and my brother and my coaches, so if they're back there, then I'm sitting back there anyways, right?
Yeah, that's true. Where do you train in Orange County or wherever that you train?
Yeah. So yeah, all my MMA training is now out of OCU, which is super convenient and awesome. We got Eric Paulson, absolute legend with over at CSW. So much experience under his belt, and he's just a healer in all aspects of the game. He's just an awesome coach, awesome person. And then also Coach Tyler Womble's amazing on the striking, the Muay Thai end of things, the upper body, and a lot of the crisp striking with him, and that's local right here in Huntington Beach as well. So to have two absolute legends super close to me, it's just been a huge blessing.
I know he's a big dude, but you ever grapple with Josh Barnett?
No, so I haven't seen him in there. I think I don't know where he's based out of nowadays. But yeah, I would love to get around him. I don't know if I'd love to get around him with him, but he's the absolute savage and monster, and I've heard a lot of crazy stories.
Yeah, for sure. He's like one of Paulson's biggest stars ever.
Yeah.
And then one last question. I'm just curious, Huntington Beach, for some reason I thought, he's probably gonna say King's MMA. Have you ever stepped into that gym or done any work there?
Yeah, I popped in there a couple of times, and who invited me? Giga, right? Giga's a really cool guy, and he's an amazing striker himself. He had me pop over there a couple of times and got some work with those guys. And yeah, nothing but love for those guys. Corderos and everyone, all legends for sure.
Very cool. All right, man. Hey, kids, really, really nice meeting you. And like I say, having seen you first in competing in Abu Dhabi and now seeing you move over to MMA, that's awesome. You're very young. Goes on that card that we're talking about here in Qatar is Bibiano Fernandez. Remember him when he came to the studio? He's 44, Cade's 22, so double his age. I'm 55. That's all I'm saying. I'm 2.5 times his age. But man, this young generation is getting me excited, especially when I see one come through the OC. So congrats to you and your brother Ty. I don't know. I think he's doing MMA too. It'll be great to see you guys do your thing now in our sport.
Thank you so much, guys. Great to meet both of you as well. And I really appreciate all of that. So putting on for the OC boys. Let's go.
There you go. All right, man. Safe travels to Qatar and do your thing on the 20th.
Thank you so much, guys. All the best. Good vibes out there in Vegas, and I'll catch you guys soon.